I love this version of myself that you brought out. A Memoir of a Broken Heart. Pages 13 to 30. Change your relationship with discomfort. If you want to heal, change your life, and break out of patterns, you have to change your relationship with discomfort. Because as toxic as a cycle may be, it's comfortable, it's familiar, and it gives us a sense of control. It allows us to believe that we know what will happen. I'm not enough to I can expect relationships to end because I'm not enough to I know what is going to happen, so I am comfortable. This is such a dangerous mindset to have because it's so subconscious and automatic. The way to break out of this cycle is to change your relationship with discomfort and to allow yourself to be scared of the unknown. It's telling yourself, I'm scared, but I'll do it anyway. Let go of your need for control. That's the only way you can break out of a cycle. This might mean trying things you would never do, or doing things that are cringe or weird. If you want to break out of a cycle, you have to be willing to move past the patterns that keep you there. You have to be willing to bet on yourself when no one else will. To be able to see something that doesn't already exist. To imagine beyond what is. Maybe your type isn't emotional unavailable people, but rather that's your pattern. You can't recognize this till you make the conscious decision to change your relationship with discomfort. It might not get better before first getting worse. Finding peace and creating a healthy relationship with yourself after being used to the emotional highs and lows of a toxic relationship will feel extremely uncomfortable. The reminder we have to give ourselves is that if we really want to change, it's gonna be hard. It might even feel impossible, but that's only a sign that you are on the right path. What you are used to might not always feel good, but it does feel comfortable on some level. Whether it's a certain level of love, reciprocation, or treatment, there is something that is your default, something you are used to. If you want something more or something better, change your relationship with discomfort. I think people often think that moving on is giving up. That somehow it's not romantic to get over someone. And I think it's this thought that causes people to hold on to something that no longer exists. But I see it differently. To me, moving on is the last thing you will ever do for them. It's your final act of love before you accept that this isn't your story to live out after all. It's letting them be the main character and live out their story, even if you are not one of the main characters. Because there's this funny thing that happens after a heartbreak. You become okay again. You smile again. Things are exciting again. And you think to yourself, maybe they weren't meant to be anyway. And it's in these moments you realize that all the fuzz, all the energy around trying to convince someone who isn't there anymore to stay, was just betraying yourself in a way. Letting go is the most courageous, most loving thing you could do for them and for yourself. Love should always include yourself. Because if you have one last opportunity to love them with everything you've got, wouldn't you want to take that opportunity? Let go. It's your final act of love before they cease to exist in your life. It's not that getting over someone isn't romantic. I'd argue it's the most romantic thing of all. It's a love for someone so great that you'd be willing to choose yourself again, and that you'd be willing to let them win, even when it's not with you. If you're stuck holding on because you believe on some level that you are being romantic, realize that freeing them from the burdens of your needs is the most romantic thing you could ever do. Not only are you choosing for them to be free, which takes all of your heart, you are also opening yourself up to the idea that you too deserve love, just not with this person you have attached to. This is scary. This takes a tremendous amount of courage, and not to mention love. So press forth, take it one step at a time. Be gentle, don't rush. It's the last thing you get to do with them. Letting go is akin to passing a torch, passing the baton, and entrusting the love you once gave to them to someone else. What if moving on wasn't giving up? What if moving on is, in fact, the greatest act of love you could ever perform? Because if you could endure the pain of loss and still choose to love them, wish them happiness, and truly be happy yourself too, is that not the greatness of love personified? What if instead of being regretful, we could be grateful for the role we played in that story, even if that chapter is closed? What if instead of blaming them for our ability to love, we are grateful for being able to love them and to let go of them in the end? What if instead we could just enjoy those short moments we steal away as a reminder of the love that once was? What if letting go is your final act of love for the other person? What if saying goodbye just means you get to say hello to love once again? This journal entry was written to me. I was struggling with the fact that letting go just seemed like I was giving up, that I was throwing in the towel, and on some level, I was betraying the part of myself that said I would never give up. I realized, however, that it's all perspective. How you frame it is how it is. Be willing to reframe it and look at it differently. Missing ends one day. A poem. I think one day I'm not gonna miss you anymore, and you're not gonna miss me anymore, and I think that's super bittersweet. So for now, I'll cherish every single moment I miss you. You've been an amazing reminder of how much I love myself, and I'm so grateful for that. Missing ends one day. A coming realization. I think when I wrote Missing ends one day, I was coming to the realization that all things come to an end, even endings. Because as tough as a heartbreak and saying goodbye is, that too ends eventually. Being grateful that you are spending your last moments cherishing the memories for what they are is hard. But when you realize it's your last chance too, it seems like the only thing that you can do. Letting go isn't giving up. A poem. Letting you go meant realizing I'm not meant for you and setting you free. You are everyone I love, everything love is to me, and infinitely more. I'm not giving up on you, but I'm loving you more than the heartbreak. Because for me, letting go isn't giving up. To me, letting go is choosing love for both of us. And although we were wrong and weren't all that we thought, I still love you, and I always will. Because truly, you existing will always be enough for me. Because I love you more than my need to talk to you, and more than my need to be with you. The love is not contingent upon us being together in any way. And one day, I'll find a love that ours could never be. Thank you for reminding me that love is never wasted. I love this version of myself that you brought out. Letting go isn't giving up. Reframing loss. Letting go isn't giving up. That's the thing we struggle with. Because if letting go was giving up, why would we want to do it? Why should we? We are taught from a young age that love is something you should fight for, rally for, and move mountains for. So when things come to an end, and they definitely do end sometimes, we resist and persist, because that's what we think love is all about. But sometimes loving isn't about making something work, but rather realizing it isn't meant to be. To me, letting go was setting her free, and in turn, myself as well. Loving someone more than what they are to you is hauntingly beautiful, because it means putting aside what you want them to be, and accepting who they are, even if it means letting go of them in the end. You can appreciate their existence for what it is, rather than what you need it to be. Letting go is a conscious act of love, a choice, and a decision to move forward even when it feels like you can't. It's everything we don't want love to be, but everything we need it to be. In the face of a heartbreak, love them more than your pain, more than your need to be with them. This is how you move forward. Letting go is not giving up. It's realizing you have to let go to move forward and to ensure that love is never wasted. If you are lost, admit to yourself that there is a better way. You just haven't found it yet. When you want something and it seems like an absolute certainty that it's impossible, open yourself up to the idea that there is a better way. You just haven't found it yet. It's very possible that you just don't fully understand it yet. If you think getting over them is impossible, maybe you just haven't found out how to yet. Allow yourself to believe this. You will never find love again? Maybe you are wrong. Be willing to be wrong. It's a gift to be wrong. This is one of the quintessential experiences of healing. It's a form of surrender that says some of your thought patterns may be wrong, that maybe some of your belief systems don't make sense to begin with. You might be wrong. Remind yourself of this. If all feels lost and moving forward seems impossible, just remind yourself that you may be wrong. Be willing to open your heart to the idea you may not see it all. Assuming you know everything when you're experiencing loss is the worst thing you can do for yourself. We think that because we experience heartbreak a few times, we are destined to be alone. That a pattern is some divine sign from the universe that we are doomed, cursed, and inevitably set up to fail. However valid the feeling may be, this is untrue. But unless you're willing to accept an alternative, you will continue to live in this cycle. Some people choose this cycle willingly, and some are unaware they are choosing it. The bottom line is that you have to recognize that we are blind when it comes to predicting what will happen next. Catastrophizing your doom is something you do, not something that defines how everything will be. If you are in this position, take a step back for a second. Just pause. Slow down. Because you're probably living in your head. The stories, the assumptions, and the beliefs are defining everything for you. You have to recognize you are doing this first if you want to snap out of it. Take a moment to just breathe for a second and focus on your breath. That's all you need to do. Remind yourself that your mind is loud, but if you were your mind, you couldn't be the one listening to it. It's okay to feel as if things are doomed and that you can never move forward. But choosing to embrace it as the only option is simply settling for something you know you don't want. There is a better way. You just haven't found it yet. Here are 5 ways to reframe your perspective. First one, viewing challenges as adventures. Whenever you're faced with a challenge, you have a choice to decide what it is to you. You can see obstacles as a roadblock or a stepping stone into something greater. What have you not considered about the challenge or obstacle in front of you? What can you learn from this? How can you grow through this experience? Secondly, learning from the brink of impossibility. This is what makes us human. We don't accept defeat, and we are inspired when we give it a shot anyways. In every story we love, there is always a moment where the protagonist is faced with impossible odds, where they are provided the opportunity to throw in the towel and give up. But something in them decides to reject this opportunity and move forward anyway. These are the moments we love in storytelling because it mirrors what we need most from ourselves. We understand that the comeback story isn't just something in fiction, but something innate in all of us. In the face of uncertainty, you are provided with the opportunity for discovery. Learn what it means to come back and choose something better for yourself, even when it seems impossible. Third, challenge the story. The belief that you are destined to be alone is a narrative you have the power to rewrite. Humans have the power to dream, imagine, and hope. Challenge that what is happening to you isn't all that there is. You don't know what can change, but be willing to accept that it can. Fourth, be willing to perform emotionally alchemy. Acknowledge the feelings within you and transmute them into something different. Feelings of despair, loneliness, and sadness are forms of energy awaiting your transformation. They are not wrong. They are just like raw materials waiting to be shaped into something else. You can't change what happens, but you can change the way you feel about it. Be willing to accept that what you are feeling is something you have the power to transform. And 5, a pattern is a comfort zone. We crave predictability, so much that at times we choose it even when it's the worst option provided to us. We assume that our past dictates an unalterable future because it's more comfortable than accepting that how we move forward is unknown and entirely up to us. If you can't get over them, then create a version of yourself that can. As long as you think you can't, you're right. If you think they are the only person for you, then they are. You get to decide these things. If you've decided that you could never get over them, never let go, and never move on, then create a version of yourself that can. Heal and grow so much that you aren't the same person anymore. Put the version of yourself that could never get over them to rest. Let them know that I've got it from here on out. You can rest now, and I'm going to take care of you. You don't just have to grieve your significant person during a heartbreak. You also have to grieve the parts of yourself that committed everything to them. The parts of yourself that believed they were everything, and the parts of yourself that fell for them in the first place. A lot of times, we have resentment towards ourselves for falling in love with someone who eventually breaks our heart. Creating a version of yourself who can get over them means forgiving all parts of yourself, trusting, understanding, and seeing why you made certain choices. It's to tell yourself, if I knew better, I would have done better. It's forgiving your significant person for who they once were and who they are now. Trusting, understanding, and seeing why they acted in certain ways, it's telling yourself, if they knew better, they would have done better. Let yourself grieve everything. Feel the pain. Allow yourself to be hurt because you are saying goodbye to a part of yourself as well. You are choosing to heal beyond everything that has ever hurt you. You are choosing to be free from it. You are not punishing yourself, you are forgiving yourself. When you can do this, you can really move forward from a past that's already gone. These are 5 things I realized about creating a version of yourself that can. First one, self-growth is metamorphosis. As you grow from them and grow into someone different from who you are, you have to shed the parts of yourself that previously existed. Embracing this change, that you have to let go of parts of yourself, is the hard part of healing and moving on. Secondly, reinvention is empowerment. Shedding an old belief system allows for the emergence of a more empowered and self-assured you. If you're feeling powerless and hopeless to the whims of everything in front of you, resist giving in. Instead, reinvent yourself and reclaim your essence. Third, acceptance builds resilience. I think we all like to believe that resilience is our ability to tolerate hurtful things, or our ability to not care and be unaffected in the face of challenging things. However, resilience isn't about indifference. Rather, it lies in our capacity to accept things that are seemingly unacceptable. Accepting your past, your choices, and the actions of your significant person is not a resignation, but rather the foundation for your resilience and growth. Fourth, grief is nuanced. It isn't just something we go through once. It's an experience that persists throughout our entire lives. It's not something you experience once and move on from once, but a continuous experience. Living with grief means understanding that it is nuanced and it comes in waves. Allowing yourself to experience this is the only way you can live with it. And finally, feeling broken is an opportunity for self-compassion. Creating a version of yourself that you can move on and can get over them is self-compassion. It's being kind to yourself even if you feel like you don't deserve it, and choosing to take your lowest moment and turn it into an opportunity to love yourself again. Why? A poem. When I told you I always recover, that wasn't an invitation to break me. When I shared my deepest fears and my greatest vulnerabilities, it wasn't a challenge. Why? Being hurt is a reflection of how willing you were to love. I wrote why during my heartbreak because that's how I felt at that time. It felt as if sharing myself on that deep of a level was as if I was giving them the opportunity to break me in the end. That providing them with my greatest fears was handing them the gun to shoot me with. I think feeling this way it's pretty normal during a heartbreak, but I've come to reframe it as time has passed. Part of the reason we feel this way is that we had enough safety to get hurt in the first place. Although it seems like we are providing the other person with the means to break us, that is not actually our intention or theirs either. Loving someone is putting it all on the line in hopes that it may work out, knowing that it may not. This isn't wrong or something we have to fix. I'd argue it's the only way you truly make love work. However, if you experience this one too many times, it may feel as if opening yourself up and being vulnerable is not worth it to begin with. I think this is the irony of love, because it's not actually about the other person. Ultimately, our emotional resilience lies in our ability to remain open, regardless of what external circumstances have to say about it. Being hurt isn't some sign that loving was the wrong choice. It's an indication of how much you cared and how willing you were to love in the first place. To me, loving is the greatest gamble of all. It's putting your heart on the line, hoping that the other person will do the same. After a few heartbreaks, many people decide this gamble is not worth the hassle. That caring isn't something you should do if you want to get ahead in life. But choosing not to take this gamble is the greatest gamble of all. Because it's a choice to be complacent with the status quo, with how things are, and to be unwilling to change moving forward. Be willing to be open, not for the other person, but for the experience. Love is the price we pay for experience, not outcome. The point of loving isn't necessarily to reach some intended outcome or for it to be successful, but rather to experience what it has to offer, even if it ends one day. Keep your heart open and never close, because the pain of experiencing loss is nothing compared to the pain of not experiencing love.